All right, welcome to WooTube. I think something might have been a bit up with sound there. I couldn't actually even hear what was going on, but apologies if that was all gone a bit wonky. My OBS is doing some weird things today, and I was also trying to set it up so I could get Brandon on to chat after our game on Saturday, and for some reason I just couldn't get the settings right, and either I couldn't hear him or I couldn't get him on record. Which I don't know. Everything looked like it normally did, but my brain was hurting at that point. I'd played quite a lot of Netrunner. Some of the games went very, very long. But hello, everyone. Welcome to WooTube. I hope you're all having a good day. Um, Today, we're going to talk a bit about AMT, the accelerated meta test. Axu, straight up, congratulations. Axu came third place at accelerated meta test on the weekend. I can't actually remember what you were playing, Axu. I don't know if you've posted your decks yet. I feel like I should. I think I only saw one of your games, and I think you got stomped. Uh, Maybe by this deck. I can't remember. Which just seemed pretty nasty. Um, but yes, I saw the like game from the cut, and it just all looks Big Hashiko and Laura's Mari. Yeah, yeah, fair. I think they're both very good choices. And yeah, and you played them very well. But yeah, we've got some stuff to talk about. So AMT actually a very interesting tournament. I thought like possibly one of the most interesting I've played in for a while. Um, we had brand new kind of decks. I mean, this is an archetype which we've seen before, but brand new decks kind of winning, and maybe surprising decks doing quite well in some circumstances. Um, if you haven't watched it, the games are up on stream. The stream seemed insistent on streaming some of my games, so there's a couple of mine up there. And I did actually record all my games as well. There's a couple of absolute belters, like really, really insanely kind of complex, interesting games, which I have on video, which I'm really, really pleased about. And a couple which went a little bit shorter. Um, I, I actually I was quite pleased with how I did. My corp went 3 wins, 0 losses, very good. My runner went 2-2. But the massive downfall for me all came in round 3, where I played against good friend of the show, Brandon the King. He was playing PE. I was playing Hashiko, which I'll go into that list in a second. And our game number 1 went 70 minutes and resulted in me losing on a timed loss because I was just in full control mode. To be fair, I didn't quite notice the time, and this is where I'm not a very good tournament player. I play to play the game. Like I should have been like watching the clock, and I should have conceded with like 10 minutes to go because I was playing outfit, so I can definitely kind of generate the win from that game. But like I'm not a gamer player like that. Anyway, it went really long, and I've got it on video. In fact, there's a video from both sides because soccer was streaming as well, and it's kind of a bit brutal. And we had a good chat about it afterwards, and it's interesting. I think if it had gone to time, then maybe or if time wasn't a factor, then I might have won it because I just had infinite imps and was just imping all his agendas. Um, Brandon thinks that he probably had a chance of jamming out 2 things in 2 different remotes and me not being able to get into them. So we're unsure about how it would have ended. But I'm pretty sure that if we'd have played the other side, I think I would have won. And I'll explain why when we get to my deck lists. But yeah, this was the winning Corp by Man in the Moon. Pretty disgusting stuff. If you didn't see this yet, so this is obviously like a Bladderwort prison deck. Everyone loves a prison. It's using Natexes to duck some money. Brandon won the game on time. He had like 4 points scored, and I had 0 points scored, but about 8 points in the bin. Not that I could steal them, I didn't have enough cards. So this, so we have Bladderworts, we've got Natexes, which you can use to like duck the money that you gain at the start of turn to drop them. There's 3 copies of Hostile Architecture, which is a card that hasn't really seen competitive play, but my word, was it like disgusting in this deck. It's a really good way of ducking a bunch of credits to the Bladderwort. And it's just rolling into everything. This deck is just generating damage after damage after damage. You've got 3 urban renewals as well, generating more damage. These trash themselves, you get an ob trigger, all of that kind of good stuff. Sphegators and wall-to-walls to spam the board to keep yourself going. Then you've got hard-hitting news, boom, and economic warfare for when the runner actually tries to trash all your stuff so that they don't die from the Bladderworts. And the ice is mostly like kind of almost what you'd expect from many obelisks now. Border control, sandstone. It's a good free coster. Afshars, they're probably the best free coster for this deck in terms of a code gate. A spicy anemone, which Man in the Moon says did nothing on the day, but is really fun because you can pop it when they run a border control and suddenly pull 2 damage out of nowhere. And this plays Formicary as a card that does the thing that Formicary. It plays Formicary as Formicary. Like, I know, who knew? This was just a piece of ice. Like, this is a good subroutine for this deck. Do 2 net damage, yeah, great. End the run, also good. And it costs 2, which is really important because all of your ice needs to be pretty cheap because you're never going to have much money. Pretty disgusting because it plays pretty nastily against criminals because it doesn't mind having no money. It probably just sets up faster than a lot of Anarchs can deal with, even though they have a bit of an advantage against it. And it was very dominant in the like 2 games, or the 1 game which I saw it win, and even the game that I saw in which it lost, it still was like a very slim win by the king against it. They were playing a kind of a normalish size to Hashiko, which is very fun. It's got a Light the Fire, which I think is pretty good tech. And also there was another spicy bit of and a Hush, very important, as I'll get into. And I also wanted to point out Cody's decks. So this is the decks that came in second. Cody was playing Lat, but not the Lat which maybe most people were expecting. He was on a kind of Anicam events package with 3 copies of Tapworm. And actually died to a Formicary. Yeah, like who knew that ice could do something, eh? Apart from just stopping you get to a Skunkworks. Yeah, like really interesting. I don't think Cody didn't lose a game all day until the finals, so congratulations to him. Like, this looks like quite a fun, a bit more interactive shaper type deck than the kind of Aesop's versions, which I was expecting to see a lot of. I did see a lot of, and we'll get into that. And then Cody was on this Fule deck, which is actually like I was almost quite surprised by. It's got some pretty good spice in it. It's got Hangeki, which I think is a great card in Fule. Tanuki needs a corpse sleeve for tomorrow's Meat Space meetup. yes, I have got recommendations for you. I'll get into it. Don't play this. This is not a casual deck. Don't play this. This is not a casual deck. Don't play Loki Ag Infusion Axu. um, um, but yeah, so I thought I'd quickly talk about the decks which I took. Let me see if I can find them here. Oh, just a second. I'm going to need to disappear. Okay, mild family emergency involving a toddler. I am going to disappear for about 20 minutes, I reckon, and then I will come back. And Tanuki, at that point, I'll give you a really good deck to play, which is fun and janky, but also went undefeated for me on the day. So pop back in 20 minutes, and I will get back to you on that.